Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400, and of course the brown skinned human, coming back at you with my second musical based list, and that is my all time favorite rock stars list. This rock stars and rock musician and rock bands list. This is a list I've been wanting to do for a long time, even longer than the hip hop video, the very favorite rappers list. But I was too lazy to make a list, and there were so many bands. There were so many bands on this list, and once again, this is my favorite and best list. So these are the bands I consider the best of all time and who I enjoy listening to. Once again, just like the rap list, the hip hop list, this has this has rock musicians and bands who are active, inactive, deceased, and still going strong today. And they range from all generations, from the '60s, '70s, '80s, '90s, and of course the 2000s. All generations of rock and roll. But most are from the '70s, '80s, '90s, and of course the 2000s decades. That's where most of the bands come from, because these are my opinion were the best decades and the best. These were the best decades of rock and roll based music. But yeah. So with that being said, let's get this video started right now. This is once again my world, so it doesn't matter what you think of this video and this list. Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here. This is part two of my all-time favorite rock musicians look remake. I recorded another one before this, but I had accidentally missed the band. I can't believe I actually missed the band despite the list being in front of me. So I decided to record this video over and over again. So with that being said, the very first band on this list, as you can see by the picture, is Faith No More. Mike Patton, Billy Gold, Robbie Bottom, Mike Borden, Joe Hudson, and the late great Chuck Mosley, who are there's so many members of Faith No More, but these guys are and were my favorites. The main reason I chose Faith No More is because of their rockin', rapping, funk and blues style of sound in their music. Like I said, in my favorite favorite and best rappers list, I love the rock and rapping style. Most hardcore rock and roll fans do not like that mixture of rock and roll and rap. Do not like that rap with guitars stuff. But I, however, always love it. Love rap metal, hardcore rap or new metal, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it, man. Whatever you want to call it. Always love the mixture. Not only does he mix rock and roll and rap together, but he mixes other genres like funk and blues together. Funk and blues together. Would have even included him in my favorite rappers list, but like I said, in the favorite rappers list, Faith No More, Mike Patton is a rock star first. Rock star first. Not only do I love his music with his two best songs being the hugely popular Epic, which introduced me to Faith No More, and his other song, Falling Apart. I also liked Chuck Mosley's, the late Chuck Mosley song, who's Chuck Mosley, I think he committed suicide in 2017. Not only is their music awesome, I love their rock and roll, grunge, their colorful, tight, baggy rock and roll and grunge attire, which would be the 90s, and now the 2010s, which would be the 90s, which would be the 90s and 2010s hip hop swag, and it's the 90s and 2000s rock and roll swag, rock and roll swag, and Mike. And I love all five members, with Mike Patton and the late Chuck Mosley being the most colorful and the most memorable and most flamboyant of the group. Like I said, in my favorite best rap musicians, I like gimmicky, fly, and street-based rappers, and I like flamboyant musicians, and that's why Faith No More is number one on my favorite rock and roll rock bands and rock musicians. Number two is Living Color. These guys are number two because these guys are the one of the many few Afro European and American based rock and roll bands. Rock and roll bands. Most rock and roll bands consists of white Canadian and foreign based people. White foreign based people. This band right here is made up of Afro and European Americans. A couple of these guys are of European descent. That's why I said Afro, European, and American. It is really cool to see a couple of brown guys who not only do R&B and funk, but getting down and funky and rocking it out with a couple of cool rock songs. They got so many awesome songs with the ever popular Cult of Personality, CM Punk's WWE and Ring of Honor theme song being my all-time favorite song. That was the song that introduced me to these guys. Favorite members, like all the members with the core members, Vernon Reid, Corey Glover, Will Calhoun, Doug Wimbish, and Muzz Skillings. Muzz Skillings still being my favorites. And all of the five of these guys are still going strong to this day. Love Living Color. 3, Skid Row. Skid Row. Skid Row. Skid Row. I like the entire team with Sebastian Bach being my favorite singer. Yes, Skid Row. They still exist today as a slightly different lineup. They've been around since the I think late 70s and early 80s with different singers. The Sebastian Bach era, which is one of the first eras of Skid Row, is my all-time favorite. But I'm still happy that they kept getting younger, more youthful singers over the years to keep the band alive and strong. My favorite songs from them are the very popular Youth Gone Wild. We are the youth gone wild. We are a problem child. We are the youth gone wild. That song is the symbol of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s youth. That song right there. Then of course, they got other songs, dramatic songs. They got I Remember You, their most dramatic and romantic song. Then their most creative, dramatic, and Hollywood-based song, 18 in Life, which has Sebastian Bach portraying a rebellious teen being kicked out of the house on his own by his alcoholic father. By his alcoholic father. So that's what's the band called again? Kiss. That's Kiss for you. 6 is A Flock of Seagulls. A Flock of Seagulls. Mike Score and the rest of the team. Mike Score, the rest of the team. I like the entire team, but Mike Score is the best, man. He's the best and most memorable. His red shirt, baggy pants, baggy dress pants, and I think brown dress shoes, and blonde blonde spiked up blonde comb spike blonde curly hair blonde curly hair. That's what he had in his prime. He doesn't have that look anymore. He doesn't have that look anymore. But Mike Scholes was, and not and if for those of you who don't know who A Flock of Seagulls are, they're best known for that song I Ran. So yeah, they're best known for the song "And I ran so far away," which I was introduced to that song through the Grand Theft Auto commercials. That song introduced me to A Flock of Seagulls and Bowling for Soup, who did a cover for this song, which was the theme song to the Knights of the Zodiac Saint Seiya anime. Um, this guy right here, Mike Score. Mike Score is and the music video associated with which has Mike Score on the run in some weird tunnel place from some alien goth chicks. Goth chicks. That's one of the he has the most creative, one of the most creative, coolest, and most memorable music videos of all time. Before I get to number 7, let me go back to 4 and 5. I can't believe this time I redid this video because I skipped number 5, but this time I skipped 4 and 5. So let me go back to 4 and 5. Right after Skid Row, the next band was originally Boss. Peter Murphy, Kevin Haskins, Daniel Ash, and David J. David J. Boss, as you can see by their appearance in this picture right here, Boss is widely considered and widely known to be the very, very first Gothic band. They're originators of that. They're the originators. They're one of the originators of that movement and the musical genre of the same thing. Love Boss, man. Those guys were awesome. Love their cool appearance and attire. When I was a teenager, I was hugely into the goth. Went through that rebel phase. I love the all black attire. I couldn't afford most of what those guys had, but the all black attire, the face paint and makeup, and the musical and the nihilistic personality. I quickly grew out of that phrase because as dark and violent as goths, as dark and violent the goth imagery is portrayed. Most of those guys are actually pacifists, and I was also going. Not only was I going through that rebel phase, but I was going through that rebel fake tough guy phase. So I later became more rock and roll, punk rock, and hip hop swag, because I wanted a tougher image, and most of the goths are pacifists, but I still use some elements of the goths costume and imagery as a gimmick to this day, to this day, and in my style of dress. But I love goth, and not only did I like their appearance, let's talk about their appearance. The appearance with the tight tuxedos and boots. I love those where you wear the dress shirt and dress jacket with tights and boots, which I still do today, with tights, boots, tight pants, leggings, skinny jeans, shorts, skinny jeans, short gym shorts and khaki shorts, and sneakers, boots, socks and sandals. I hate wearing suits. But I love that version. Then he had the fangs in his mouth, like Dracula, in the top hat. Peter Murphy. I like all the members, but Peter Murphy was the most memorable and the most flamboyant of the group. And he's awesome, and not only is he an awesome singer, but he's an awesome performer. Gothic Michael Jackson is Peter Murphy. Then, of course, not only did I like their attire, but their music. First off, their cover and remake of David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust. Ziggy Stardust, their best song. Then Dark Entries, their darkest and most aggressive song, Dark Entries. Then She's in Parties, their most creepiest songs, and Bella Lugosi's Dead, another creepy song from them, and many more awesome weird songs. Like I said, Boss, the very first Gothic band. Number 5 is Kiss. Kiss, you knew these guys were gonna be somewhere on this list right here. I love Kiss. I love their comic book appearance and their comic book hard rock style of music. You have the Goblet of Fire. You have the Goblet of Fire. The Goblet of Fire, the rock and roll, the rock and roll and party every night, and that other song. I keep forgetting what it's called. But by the way, professional wrestler Dale Torborg, who he wrestled as the second incarnation of the Kiss Demon. Kiss Demon, Kiss Demon introduced me to Kiss the band. I actually thought that was the legendary Gene Simmons himself wrestling back in the 2000s, back in the 2000s. The Kiss even performed live on Nitro, and I'm trying to figure out what was the name of that song. I can't remember. I'll talk about it when I do a longer video on Kiss. But anyway, yeah, like I said, Gene Simmons, I love their cool comic book. I love their cool comic book look, the tight spandex, the platform boots, and the weird upper attire, the weird armor attire that they wear. Then later on in the 90s, when the face paint and the spandex, when that briefly went out of style, they adopted a more street look, like the rock and roll and rappers of the a more grungy, clean cut street punk rock look, which is what most of the rock stars and rappers of the late 80s and early 90s had before returning to the face paint and all that stuff. So yeah, Gene Simmons, Kiss, and still these guys are still at almost 70 years old. These guys still rock it out today, man. Still are popular and still rock it out today, man. 6. Well, yeah, 7. 7. I already did 6. So 7 is Papa Roach, one of the greatest bands and symbols of the 2000s. Jacoby Shaddix is my boy. Like the entire Papa Roach band, but Jacoby Shaddix is the coolest, most memorable, and most memorable. When I think Papa Roach, Jacoby Shaddix, also known as Kobe Dick. Kobe Dick is the most memorable. Not only do I like his edgy rock and roll look, his early clean cut look, but his music, some of the best songs I've heard from this guy. You got the hugely popular Last Resort, which is the most crunkest and rock and roll songs, edgiest rock and roll songs I've ever heard. You have Last Resort. What's that other song called again? You have Last Resort, To Be Loved, another hardcore rock song, which was the theme song for WWE Raw in 2006. Getting Away with Murder, the 2004 Getting Away with Murder. Scars, his most dramatic song. Broken Home, his second most dramatic song. Time and Time Again, his most edgy Grand Theft Auto song with the coolest music videos ever. Angels and Insects, She Loves Me Not, his weakest but still entertaining song. And of course, American Dream and Forever, Time to Feel the Void. So yeah, Papa Roach, one of the greatest bands of all time, and they're still rocking it out and still going strong today in the 2010s. 2000s Jacoby Shaddix is my favorite. They started in the 90s. 90s Jacoby Shaddix is my least favorite. Least favorite because in the 90s Papa Roach, I talked about this in my favorite rap musicians. Like I said, Jacoby Shaddix earlier, when in early his career he was doing a lot of rapping with guitarists, but they wanted Papa Roach. They wanted more credibility as rock stars. So Jacoby in the 2000s he slimmed up, ditched his edgy hip hop persona, his edgy hip hop street persona, and adopted a more rock and roll appearance. He slimmed down, grew his hair out, put some face paint and makeup on, and yeah, Jacoby Shaddix, his over the top antics, and yeah, one of the greatest one of the greatest rock stars and rock bands of all time, man. Still going strong today, man. Number 8, Green Day. Green Day. Huge fan of Green Day for their pop, punk, rock, edgy persona and appearance and their music. I was introducing them through the Time of Your Life. I hope you had the time of your life song. Boulevard of Broken Dreams, their best song. Their best song. This was a gothic alternative rock song for such a clean cut, edgy punk band, punk rock bump rock band, and the hugely popular and infamous American Idiot. American Idiot, like the entire team with Billy Joe Armstrong, the guy you see right here, being the most memorable of the group. And I consider Green Day to be one of the many popular bands of the 2000s, despite starting in the 80s, and they're still going strong now. They're almost 50 years old and still going strong now. Number 9, Saliva. Saliva. Um, Wayne Wayne Sweeney, and the newest singer Bobby Amuru, and the entire team. The entire team are my favorites, with Wayne Sweeney and Bobby Amuru being the most memorable. Wayne Sweeney being the lead singer of Saliva since their inception, and Bobby Amuru being the new young singer keeping Saliva alive from when Wayne Sweeney has to sit down. But I've been a huge fan of Saliva. Just like Papa Roach and Green Day, they are also one of the many bands, symbols of the 2000s. Their song, Superstar, which was the theme song for WrestleMania 18 and Legends of Wrestling. Legends of Wrestling 2. Show me who you are, superstar. Yeah, that song right there. That's one of the most memorable songs of the 2000s. They had that click, click, boom. They're coming back with the new style. The click, click, boom song and the ladies and gentlemen, your opinions, please. Do you feel it? Yeah. The theme song for WrestleMania 23 and I Walk Alone. But the WWE superstar Batista's theme song. So yeah, that's Saliva for you. 10, Linkin Park, man, and I like the entire team, but the most memorable members are the late great Chester Bennington, who died in 2017, and my boy MC Mike Shinoda. Like I said, I love them for their rockin' rapping style. They ushered in what is known as new metal. In the 2000s, and you had Chester Bennington, the actual rock star. Then you had MC Mike Shinoda, the guy coming in rapping. He even had his own solo project called Fight the Sky, where he did the very popular Remember the Name rap song. You had Chester Bennington, you had Chester, this song, not only do I like their edgy 2000s punk rock emo, heavy metal street appearance, but I also love their music with One Step Closer, in the end, Somewhere I Belong, Crawling, which introduced me to them, Crawling, what else? Breaking the Habit, which there was a remix with Jay-Z's 99 Problems involved, which is one of the coolest collaborations ever. Numb, and of course Paper Cut and Forfeit the Game. So yeah, like I said, so many awesome songs from Linkin Park. 11, Simple Plan, another band, another symbol of the 2000s. There, I do anything just to hold you in my arms. It's the best punk rock romantic song I have ever heard. What's New, Scooby Doo introduced me to these guys. Been a huge fan of these guys since 2002 or 3. I can't remember. Can't remember. But yeah, Simple Plan, one of the best bands ever. Not only do they have the very popular I Do Anything, they also have When I'm Gone, the I consider the anthem for all emo, rock and roll, goth and punk people, the Welcome to My Life. That is the anthem for emos and goth people. Welcome to My Life, and the other dramatic, perfect song. They got a lot of songs. One of the coolest bands around. I'm a huge fan. I like all members, with the core members: Pierre Biovi, Chuck Camus, Sebastian L, David D, and Jeff Stinko. One of the best Canadian bands of all time. I had no idea these guys were Canadian. No idea these guys were Canadian. Love Canadians, man. 12. Poison. I was introduced to Poison through underground professional wrestling, an underground professional wrestling league here in Georgia called NWA Anarchy. Back in the 2000s, there was a tag team called the New Way, which consisted of Derek Drivers and Steven Walters, who is Dash Wilder in WWE now. WWE now. In the 2000s, they formed a modern day Rock and Roll Express style tag team, and they had Poison's Nothing But a Good Time as their theme song, and that introduced me to Poison. And I've been a huge fan of Poison ever since for their edgy street punk rock look, and I like all members of the group, with Bret Michaels, Ricky Rocket, Bobby Dahl, and CC DeVille being the most memorable and coolest of the group, and probably my favorites, man. 13 is Rush. Don't have much to say about these guys other than that they're one of my favorite bands from the 70s. I was introduced to them with the song Tom Sawyer. I don't remember one UFC fighter in the 90s or 2000s, I can't remember, had it as their theme. I can't remember which UFC fighter. Then in 2004, in 2004, they performed the song Summertime Blues for the SummerSlam 2004 WWE pay-per-view. WWE pay-per-view. SummerSlam pay-per-view. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's the band called again? That's Rush. 14 is Survivor. The late Jimmy Jameson and Frankie Sullivan. Frankie Sullivan. They are best known. They are best known for the hugely iconic Eye of the Tiger song, which appears in both Rocky 3 and 4, in the opening segments of Rocky 4. That was the anthem of the people in the 70s and 80s, and one of my all-time favorite and most inspirational and coolest songs of all time. And not only do I like them for their music, but they're cool, edgy, clean cut punk rock and roll look, and Jimmy Jason is sad to say dead, but Frankie Sullivan is still alive and active. And other songs, not just Eye of the Tiger, but Burning Heart and No Easy Way Out. No Easy Way Out, which both appear in Rocky 4. 15, the legendary rock guitarist and musician Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen. I was introduced to him through the 2000 WCW professional wrestling comedy movie Ready to Rumble, where Gordo, David Arquette's character, and his best friend are in the car with some nuns singing "Running with the Devil." Then they have the real Eddie Van Halen's theme play in the background. Then Eddie Van Halen, he did that song and an even cooler song called Dreams in the 1995 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme, which appears at the end of the film, which is one of the most coolest and most heroic endings I've ever seen. Then 16, Stan Bush. 16, Stan Bush, man. Stan Bush. Don't have much to say about this guy, but another big 80s rock and roll musician and icon. He performed the hugely popular Hearts on Fire, the Rocky 4 training montage theme. Then, of course, he also performed Dare and You Got the Touch for the Transformers 1986 animated film. 17, Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose and everyone else. He had the very memorable. He had the very memorable. Um, Welcome to the Jungle song. Welcome to the Jungle song, which I first heard in the Grand Theft Audio commercials in the 2000s. And the other song, I think it's called Heather or Seether. But a professional wrestler, an underground professional wrestler named Todd Sexton, who is an underground southern version of Daniel Bryan, even went to the same wrestling school and received the same training from Shawn Michaels and has a similar wrestling style, introduced me to Guns N' Roses. 18, and I consider Edge, before I get to 18, I consider Edge to be the Axl Rose of professional wrestling. 18, Motley Crue. I was introduced to them with the song Kickstart My Heart. Kickstart My Heart. And this song right here, and I like all five I like the five core members: Nikki Sixx, Nick Mars, Vince Neil, and Tommy Lee. Don't have much to say about them. They have the same edgy punk, heavy metal, street look everyone else had at the same time back in the 80s and early 90s. Back in the 80s and 90s. 19, Europe. The rock and roll band Europe. Europe. Professional wrestler Daniel Bryan, aka the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and the Olympics introduced me to this band. The Final Countdown. That song right there. That was this band right here, and I like the five core members: John Norum, Joe Tempest, John Levin, Mike McKelly, and Ian Hugland. Next band is Dragon Force. Mark Hudson and the entire lineup, with Mark Hudson being the most memorable. The reason Dragon Force is on this list with all of these awesome, memorable, iconic rock and roll bands is because this band, Dragon Force, was different from any rock and roll band I've ever seen. Because these guys had video game soundtracks and beats for their instrumental and over the top biblical Hollywood movie epic fantasy style of lyrics. They had some of the longest music videos of all time. They had awesome songs like Cry of the Brave, Through the Dragons of Flame, Valley of the Damned, um, Rise Again, My Spirit Will Go On, So many awesome songs, man. So many awesome songs. Dragon Force, one of the greatest bands ever, and one of the many symbols of the 2000 using retro 1980s symbolism. Dragon Force, man. 20 is Sum 11. Don't have much to say about these guys. I was introduced to these guys through the song Still Waiting, and I keep forgetting what their other songs were called. But I was introduced to these guys with the song Still Waiting. I became an even bigger fan of them years later when I saw them when I saw the actual music video. In the past, I previously heard their songs in anime and wrestling music videos, but I finally got to see them. And I love their 2000s emo, clean cut punk rock 2010 hip hop swag look. So yeah, that's why they're here on this list. 21 is Drowning Pool. Drowning Pool is not as good as some of the other rock and roll groups on this rock bands on this list right here, but just like Papa Roach, Green Day, Saliva, Linkin Park, Simple Plan, they are the symbol of the 2000s. That iconic Let the Bodies Hit the Floor song performed by the late Dave Williams, with Dave Williams and the backup singer who would take his place after he had died, C.J. Pierce, are my all-time favorite. I love both of them for their cool, edgy, all-black rock and roll, grungy street attire, and awesome songs like Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, Sinner, Tear Away, their version of Triple H's theme, there's The Game, and of course, Step Up which I was introduced to this song. The WrestleMania 20 and The Punisher 2004 introduced me to this song right here. So yeah, that's Drowning Pool, man. One of the greatest songs ever. Back in the day, people used to bother me with the people used to bother me and get me hyped with the Let the Bodies Hit the Floor song. 1, nothing wrong with me. 2, nothing wrong with me. 3, nothing wrong with me. 4, something's got to give. 3, something's got to give. No! Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Go, floor. Yeah, man, I used to love that back in the day, man. So, yeah, 22, the Ramones, the entire team, man. All of them look the same. All of them have the same 1970s, 80s punk rock gimmick. I think they're widely considered one of the very first punk bands. Punk bands, and sadly to say, they're all deceased. But I love the Ramones for their edgy appearance, tough guy personas, tough rock and roll, rebellious personas, and awesome music like I Don't Want to Grow Up. The hugely popular I Want to Be the Sedated, which appears in the Spider-Man Far From Home song. The very popular Blitzkrieg Pop, which appears in Spider-Man Homecoming. Their rock and roll remix of the 1960s Spider-Man theme, and of course Pet Sematary, their darkest and creepiest song, Pet Sematary, and yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, the Ramones, one of the coolest bands, one of the coolest bands of all time, man. The Ramones, man. Sucks that all of them are now deceased. Now, 23, Orange, the modern day 2010s Green Day. Similar look and similar music and voice. Similar music and voice. They are best known for the song Revolution, which was the theme song of the cartoon Generator X. Generator X. I also like these guys. These guys are a huge fan of me becoming a rock star, despite not being able to play an instrument, being able to due to the fact they came up in the 2010s, being able to complete the sounds, create the sounds without using the guitar. They use the guitar, but the guitars are fake. The guitars in their songs are fake. The guitars in their songs are fake. So that's another reason I like green. That's another reason I like orange. So yeah. But they're best known for performing Revolution, the theme song for the cartoon Generator X. So yeah, that's orange. 24 is Taproot, another underground rock and roll group. I watch a lot of TNA wrestling and a lot of underground wrestling, and they perform the song. They performed the theme for Slammiversary 2010. I can't remember the name at the moment, and the song Trophy, which was the old theme for the TNA Explosion television show theme. So yeah, yeah. 26 is the hugely popular and iconic band Queen. Freddie Mercury and the entire team are my favorites, with Freddie Mercury being the coolest, most memorable, and most flamboyant. Freddie Mercury has been dead since 1991, and I've been hearing Another One Bites the Dust since 1996, and been a huge fan of Queen ever since. And not only Another One Bites the Dust, We Are the Champions, We Will Rock You, and its sequel, We Are the Champions, We Are the Champions, We Are the Champions. Been hearing all three of those songs since '96. Then you have what's that other song called? Oh yeah, Born to Be Kings and Forever, which appears in the Highlander 1986 film, and of course Under Pressure, which Vanilla Ice used the sample of that for his Ice Ice Baby song. So Queen, yeah, Queen, that's Queen right there. 27, Nirvana, baby, Nirvana, another iconic 90 bands. Kurt Cobain and the entire team, with Kurt Cobain being the most memorable. Kurt Cobain is the symbol of the 90s, of the late 80s and early 90s. He officially kickstarted the 90s with his Generation X thing. And was the leader of the grunge rock and roll movement. They're down so low on the list because as much as I love Nirvana, they're mostly known for their image and being the front man of the 90s and grunge movement. But Kurt Cobain Kurt Cobain. What about Kurt Cobain? Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. They only really have two songs. Most of their songs are boring. Most of their songs are boring and just not interesting. Just not interesting. And that is the hugely popular "Smells Like Teen Spirit" and what's that other song called again? What's that other song? Oh yeah, "Come as You Are," which professional wrestlers Diamond Dallas Page and Raven, who used instrumental remixes of both of those songs, "Smell Like Teen Spirit" and "Come as You Are," introduced me to Kurt Cobain and also had edgy, grungy rock and roll gimmicks for their careers. Wrestling careers. So yeah. Um, Next on this list is 28, Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne. They have so many songs with the hugely popular "I Am Iron Man." Dun, 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 as he lost his mind. That song right there is my all-time favorite. Is my all-time favorite. Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne song, and I love Ozzy Osbourne song. His cool, British accent, rock and roll persona, English rock persona, one of the coolest British European bands and European musicians of all time, man. Of all time, man. He's down so low on his list because I can't stand his wife, Sharon Osbourne. But Ozzy Osbourne, one of the greatest rock and roll musicians of all time, man. All time, man. 29, Rap, man. Rap. Another cool 80s rock and roll heavy metal band. Heavy metal band. The Billy and Mandy Christmas special is their song "Round and Round" portrays in the outro to that Christmas special. So yeah. Um 30 is 30 is 30 is They Might Be Giants. They Might Be Giants are on this list because just like Dragon Force, they're on this list because their music is completely distinct from everyone else's. Whereas everyone else's is hardcore thrash, fantasy, and romance. They Might Be Giants are comedy, are straight up comedy. Most of their songs are over the top comedy, cartoonish based songs like Particle Man, The Sun. Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon introduced me to They Might Be Giant. Sound Around, I keep forgetting what it's called, from the 1995 Power Rangers movie. Power Rangers movie. Power Rangers movie. What's another song called again? Put It on the Ritz. Put It on the Ritz. Their version of the Courage the Cowardly Dog song. Courage the Cowardly Dog song. That Courage the Cowardly Dog, who will protect our home. Courage the Cowardly Dog. So They Might Be Giants, and their awesome name, which is taken from a film from the 70s. I don't remember the names of the two members, but I'm a huge fan of this band. They made up most of my childhood. Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon introduced me to these guys. 31, the hugely popular AC/DC. 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 So many songs. Rock This World. I think that's what it's called. Rock This World and Shoot the Thrill. Shoot the Thrill and I keep forgetting what the other ones. I keep forgetting what the others called, but so many awesome songs. One of the coolest, most aggressive, most hardcore bands of all time, and one of the most unique because they had the clean cut. They had the clean cut. They had the clean cut redneck rock and roll look with one of them wearing a church, with one of them wearing a old school 1800s English schoolboy uniform, English school uniform with trunks. I love what's that? I love what's that band? I love what's the band called again? I love love AC DC. One of their members just recently died, but ACDC, one of the best bands of all time. 32, Busted. Busted, a pop punk rock band, the Jonas Brothers of the 2000s. I consider these guys part of the 2000s pop boy band era and 2000s rock and roll. They were both, man. They actually stopped the pop. They actually broke it off because they wanted more credibility as rock stars. But they are the Jonas Brothers of the 2000s because they're the originators of the two popular Jonas Brothers songs, Year 3000 and What I Go to School For, except their versions are cooler and edgier and have sexual references, which, when they passed the songs off to the Jonas Brothers had to perform cleaner versions of their song for Disney Channel's image. 33 is, and before I get to 33, these guys are one of the coolest boy bands and rock and roll bands of the 2000s of all time. They're cool dance maneuvers. And awesome music, man. Busted, one of the coolest bands of all time. And they recently got back together and are still going strong today, man. 33, the Jonas Brothers, man. The Jonas Brothers, yes. Hugely controversial, putting the Jonas Brothers in the same list as Skid Row, Boss, Kiss, Queen, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, and many more, Hugely controversial, putting those guys in this list right here. But I'm a huge fan of the Jonas Brothers. When I was younger and was all edgy and goth and punk rock, all of the hardcore, violent and thrash stuff was pretty cool. But I also wanted something more PG, clean cut, edgy, but PG, clean cut, and adventurous and fun. And the Jonas Brothers were my answer. In 2006, when I was watching the Disney Channel, I saw these boys in torn street clothes, in grungy attire, playing an edgy remix of the Little Mermaid's "Poor Unfortunate Souls." I'm like, ooh, that's dark and edgy and gothic for Disney Channel. Then in 2007, their next big hit in the movie Meet the Robinsons, their remix of Kim Wilde's "Kids in America," Kids of the Future. I love that song. That's the anthem for the 2000s kids, for the 2000s and 2010s kids. We're the kids. We're the kids. We're the kids of the future. And before I get back to their music, I love their edgy pop punk rock. 2010 hip hop swag look. That's what I love about them. Love all the Jonas Brothers, Joe, Nick, and Kevin. With Joe and Kevin being the coolest, followed by Nick, the youngest, man. Let's get back to their music. They had Poor Unfortunate Souls, Kids of the Future, Year 3000, What I Go to School For, Hold On, SOS, Burning Up, Jonas Brothers, LA, baby, and the theme song to their sitcom, Live to Party. Another anthem of another 2010s anthem song. And of course, they recorded several songs for the movie Camp Rock, which was also good. They were awesome in that film too. And the other their sitcom, which they didn't like. They claimed they didn't get as much creative freedom with their music. And of course, they're with Nickelodeon now. They recently broke up 5 years ago to focus on solo projects before coming back together again in 2019. The Jonas Brothers getting back together is one of the greatest things from 2019. When I do my 2019 year in review, this will be mentioned, man. That will be mentioned, man. So yeah. 34 is a Japanese band, Alexandros. They performed multiple songs for the 2018 live-action Bleach anime live-action film soundtrack. They performed the edgy, hilarious, and epic Random and Milk song. It's random because after a cool hardcore verse, they end this song, all you gotta do is drink all your milk. I was like, what the fuck when I heard that? But it was still awesome. And then, what's another song? Oh yeah, I keep forgetting what it's called. I wanna believe in something else, something to get me through the day. I keep forgetting, but it was in the trailers, and it's one of the more iconic songs. And and the other another song they did. I keep forgetting what it was called, but it was when Renji and Ichigo were fighting, man. Um, it was something like this. I'm gonna knock you out. What? To test my fate? Something like that. I can't remember the exact words at the moment. At the moment. At the moment. Before I get to number 35. 35. We're gonna do honorable mentions. Honorable mentions on this list. Number one, Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley has been dead since the 1970s, but I've been hearing his music since the 90s. Since the 90s, Johnny Bravo pretty much introduced me to Elvis Presley. His voice actor did a cool Elvis Presley persona. I love his look, the Fonzie haircut. One of the coolest and most flamboyant rock stars. He was one of the first to make it big, but I don't think he's the best, and I think all the rock stars on this list kill him. This is why he's honorable mentions. Number two is the legendary Chuck Berry, the Proud Family's Black History theme episode where Sticky was cosplayed as Chuck Berry. Introduced me to Chuck Berry, and he's one of the early pioneers of rock and roll. Three is the legendary Jimi Hendrix. Hulk Hogan with the song Voodoo Child introduced me to Jimi Hendrix. Four, Trust Companies. They had awesome songs like Downfall and many more. Many more. Five, Breaking Benjamin, another iconic band of the 2000s with only the strong has a will to survive, which is the theme song for the Bleach, the Halo 3 video game, and the Diary of Jane, and of course the Diary of Jane. Six, Switchfoot, Meant to Live. I love that song. We were born for something else. We want more than this world than our fathers. Which that theme song was the theme for Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2. The music video for this song even features clips from Spider-Man 2. 7. Killswitch Engage. Killswitch Engage. They are best known for performing CM Punk's first WWE theme. This fire burns. This fire burns. 8. Marilyn Manson, another iconic 90s and 2000s rock musician. The WCW wrestling group Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, Shane Douglas, and Chris Benoit, The Revolution, introduced me to Marilyn Manson with the Beautiful People theme. They use an instrumental version of his theme for their wrestling stable. He also had other songs like Disposable Teens. And I keep forgetting what the other one was. Marilyn Manson. 9, My Chemical Romance. I love their goth emo punk look, which they hate I think they hate being called emo, but their goth emo punk rock 2000s look, and they cut an awesome soundtrack for the Watchmen 2009 movie. Fallout Boy. I love him for the 2016 Ghostbusters theme remake, his version of the song, and his We're Going Down, Down in the Midi-Around song from the 2000s. 11, Trapped. I love them for their Headstrong song, which appears on the Legends of Wrestling 2 soundtrack. 12, Ann Arbor. They performed the song Without You for the 2009 live-action Scooby-Doo Mystery Begins song. Uber Stink. They performed a lot of songs with their most memorable, with the one I remember, at least the one there's another one, but the one I remember the most, the two I remember are The Reason and another song called My Turn, which was a theme song for the TNA Wrestling Destination X 2009 pay-per-view. 14, Motorhead. Motorhead, who passed away, I think, in 2017. He performed Triple H's first incarnation of The Game. The Game, who else? 15 is Kid Rock. I love his mixture of rock and roll, funk, blues, and country with hip hop. He's one of the only ones doing this. He has a lot of cool songs, with his most memorable being what's that song called? Oh yeah, Cowboy. Cowboy, which Jeff Jarrett introduced me to. Jeff Jarrett in the 2000 WCW Ready to Rumble movie introduced me to Kid Rock. Jeff Jarrett in WCW used the instrumental version of Cowboy, and the WCW movie used the actual song. 16 is Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam. I love them for their song Even Flow. Chris Jericho introduced me to them during his WCW career, during his heel run. During his heel run, he used an instrumental version of Even Flow. 17, Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin. I've been hearing about Led Zeppelin since the 2000s, but it wasn't until Thor Ragnarok where I heard their awesome song Immigration, where I became a huge fan. 18, Pink Floyd, another cool band from the 70s and 80s. 19, Sick Puppies. I love their song You're Going Down. 20, 20 and 21, Zebrahead and Crush 40, who performed their own versions of the song His World for the Sonic soundtrack, which is the intro and outro theme for this video. 22, Limp Bizkit. I love Limp Bizkit. I love Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit for their rapping style, new metal rocking and rapping style, and awesome songs like Break Stuff, which I also like to call Give Me Something to Break. My Way, Rolling Undertaker's American Badass theme, Keep Rolling, Crack Addict, yeah, that's it. Those are their songs. Chris Burst also did his own hip hop version of We Are the Champions with Kevin Rudolph, I think, for the Night of Champions 2012 pay-per-view. What else? 23, Goldfinger. They're best known for their We're Coming Into the Twilight Zone song. 24, Soul Coughing. I love them. Cartoon Network introduced me to them with their song Circles, which has Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone with the other Hanna-Barbera characters walking around in a circle. And their other song, Keep Rolling, Keep Rolling, for the which used footage from the 1995, which from the 1950s Betty Boop cartoon, 1940s Betty Boop cartoons, and other old black and white cartoons. Cartoon Network introduced me to Soul Coughing. 25 and 26, Twister Sister and Biff Naked. I love both of these bands for their version of We're Not Gonna Take It. No, we're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. We got the right to choose it. There ain't no way we're losing. You don't belong. I love that song, man. 27, Fozzy, Chris Jericho's band. I love them. They performed the theme song for Bound for Glory 2006, Enemy. And what's that other band? What's that other song? Oh, yeah. Judas Christ, Chris Jericho's current theme right now that he uses. 28, Creed. They had some of the most emotionally thought-provoking and inspirational songs of the 2000s with My Sacrifice and the 2004 Higher Song. 29, Alter Bridge. They are best known for performing Edge's Metallica's theme song. 30 is Tantric. They perform the popular Revolution song for the WWA World Wrestling All Stars promotion. 31, Parax Y Jin, Jeff Hardy's band. I love them for One of a Kind, Two of a Kind, Reptilian Blood, and Another Day during Jeff Hardy's heel run, and of course both versions of Modest to the Top. They also performed the theme for PJ Black, Justin Gabriel, professional wrestler PJ Black, Justin Gabriel. 32, Iron Maiden. I love their song Wasted Years. 33, Honest Eyes. They performed the theme song for Street Fighter vs. Tekken, Cross Tekken. The Product. They performed the theme for TNA Final Resolution 2010. 35, Bon Jovi. I love them for the It's My Life and Living on a Prayer. 36, Patera. Patera. They performed RVD's ECW themed Walk. 37, Captain Everything. I added this band last. I added this band. This is one of the last minute bands I added last. Captain Everything. They performed The Party Next Door. They're now disbanded, but they performed The Party Next Door, which appears in the Life with Derek sitcom episode 3 when Casey and Derek get stuck in the bathroom and you hear this huge party erupt in the hallways and this song is playing in the background. It was so awesome and one of my all-time favorite episodes. Captain Everything, an underrated UK British European band. 38 is Metallica. 38 is Metallica. 38 is Metallica. Love Metallica. Another they're 2000s for me, but they're actually the 80s. The Memory Remains, Saint Anger, Saint Anger, Saint Anger, and of course they're one of their best songs, Enter the Sandman. 39, 39, Rise Against. They're best known for the song. They're best known for the they perform music for the WWE. They perform music for the WWE video games SmackDown versus Raw 2006, 2007, and of course what else? And of course WWE the song on the song Survivor for Rise for WWE All Stars, and of course Breaking Point, who performed RVD's WWE theme One of a Kind. One of a Kind. So yeah, and of course Our Lady's Peace, who recently retired this song, but they are known for they are known, I keep forgetting what their other song is called, but they are known for that song and Chris Benoit's last WWE thing, the instrumental whatever, which they recently retired because we all know what happened with Chris Benoit. But yeah. But yeah. But yeah, these were all honorable mentions. Now for the final band on this list. And this band is only last because I forgot about them and I'm mad at myself for forgetting about them. One of the greatest bands of the 2000s, one of the greatest Canadian bands of all time, Finger 11. Finger 11. I love their 2000 rock and roll video game Tekken style appearance with one of their members, their guitarist looking like Jin Kazama, and their song um their song One, and their other song First Time, which I first heard in Dragon Ball Z Lord Slug. First Time, and of course Paralyzer, Paralyzer, and so many other awesome songs. One of the best bands of all time, man. I'm mad I forgot about them, but there were so many more awesome bands on this list. So with that being said, I'm finished. Later on, for all the bands that I missed, I will do greatest bands of their decades to get all the bands that I missed. Because I still, despite doing the honorable mentions, I still miss several bands and musicians. So with that being said, I'm finished. Turn the video off right now if you don't want to hear the rest of the music.